WTM is no more. WTM was an app I was working on. It was an event discovery platform for college students for spontaneous events. Um, and I decided that a couple hours ago, that's like, okay, I think I'm gonna put a pin on this project because I don't see it succeeding, nor do I see it having the demand that would allow it to succeed. And I'm gonna try and elaborate further and talk about the next steps at the end of this video. And then in the next video or some video after, I'll talk about that next step that I'm really excited for. With WTM, I think one of the biggest issues was that it was an event discovery platform, and that's not a new idea. When I first started designing WTM, I was thinking, oh, this is like something really unique just by the base idea. That was like excluding the whole college niche in itself. And then I did more researching, and it was not a unique idea. Obviously, you had stuff like Eventbrite and all those, and even the features I thought were unique weren't unique in themselves. The one thing I can give myself, I guess, was I was trying to make WTM a much more social platform where you could create a social curate of social personality to show off to people. But I think what really did WTM like finished it in my head at least was I just didn't see people doing spontaneous events and going to spontaneous events. And what I mean by that is like there's just not the space to do it, if that makes sense. Because in my head I was thinking, okay, what if I did like 30 events to kind of jumpstart the whole culture of it? But then really, as a student, one, why would you really do a spontaneous event? Why does the event invite the people you're friends with? Um, and if you don't have friends, then it's like, I guess maybe. Or if you do have friends, you're probably going to invite those people. So if you don't have friends, I really don't know the. I doubt you would do the event. Like you would do an event. And where would you do the event at? That's another aspect of it. Because I was thinking of really unique events like Super Smash Bros. And stuff like that. Like obviously a unique spin on it. But you have to realize like there's not enough, even on college campuses in my head, there's not enough spaces to accommodate like 10 plus people. We could do any spontaneous event just like that. Like, what's the word for this? Like on a daily basis, right? Because it can't just be something you do like once a month. Because like barely anyone's gonna be doing it. So if it's only like 25 people doing it once a month, and that's like, you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna work. I just didn't see people going to spontaneous events. And I think what really did in my head was I was talking to ChatGPT about it because I think ChatGPT is one of the best tools to talk to when you're like building something. And I saw a whole new conversation outside of the conversation about the whole WTM thing. I asked, hey, can you explain the loneliness epidemic for to me? And I think what just to provide some context, a big aspect of WTM was meant to kind of counter or mitigate the loneliness epidemic amongst young people, and that gave young people a tour avenue to interact with other young people. But then I was talking, I was like, the first thing I said was like, the reason why people are lonely is not necessarily because they're physically alone. And I think that was a key. I think that was a key distinction I never really played. I didn't dedicate a lot of brain space to because it's not necessarily a matter of just not having events and stuff like that. Because there are events that do happen, albeit they're not unique, they're not that engaging, but they're still events. And a lot of the time, at least in my case, I don't know if that's because I'm a student leader or all that, but you know about the events. So it's not a matter of like, oh, I didn't know about the event to not go. It's just like, I didn't want to go. Whether it be like, I don't know people going or it's too far or something like that. But there is a group of people I could interact with. It's not like there's no supply. So there's other aspects that kind of go into that whole idea of why don't people make friends with other people. I don't think it was a matter of, I think I miscalculated. I thought it was a matter of, okay, there's just not a tool for them to do so. And that's something not the case. I think you can obviously, there's other stuff you can branch this conversation into. I remember I went outside a couple minutes ago. It's like, okay, because I was really disappointed that I was bringing this into an end so early on. And I went outside, I was like, okay, just get some air. So I was like, oh dang, what's the move? Like, what can I do? And I looked around me, and there was a lot of stuff to do. Obviously, I wish there was an app that showed me like, stuff to do like around me. And I thought about it. I was like, where will those stuff even be taking place? You know, if I mean, like, because likely if it's in someone's house, I'm not going, right? If you exclude someone's house, there's not many places for such an event to happen in public space because there's not a lot of third places. So then, like when I looked around me, I saw like Target, I saw like a clothes shopping place, I saw a food place. All these places are where you have to like spend money and all of that. So it likely won't be a free event as well. So then, accounting for that, I realized, okay, this probably isn't going to work as well as I thought it was going to work. And then I headed to the library to maybe just like, go to the library because libraries are cool. And then as I was getting there, the library was closed, which sucked. But I was thinking, what can I really do with this app? 'Cause I really just don't want it to die. And I was thinking about there is a need for people to interact with others. There's a need for people to be able to go somewhere and do something that's not just at their desk. Um, and then I don't know what happened. Thankfully, it happened though. It's like I got this idea for Quest, and the idea of Quest is kind of like this D&D type thing. It's like basically imagine a guild master. You exist in a guild, and you have a guild master, and he gives you quests based on your location. So the quest could be like, okay, get a baking mix from Target, and get this from CVS, and get this and make a cake. It could be that, or it could be go help out at this charity thing, or go help or organize this event and have this many people show up. At least this many. Could be very unique depending on what you talk to the guild master about. I'll get into that in a second. And the back end idea is that it works off this AI system that basically takes your location and sees what's around you to see what type of quest they can get you to do that would require you to interact with your environment. I think I was just really excited. I think it incorporates a lot of stuff I do care about, from the social aspect of people and their success socially to the idea of a guild, just from like watching fairy tale. That's so cool to me with AI, because I was really disappointed with WTM in the sense that there wasn't a lot of AI components to it. I really want to be upskilling my AI skills, as big as that sounds. So I was really excited. Like this idea actually runs off an AI system creating the quest. Because if you have, let's say, 20,000 people, it will be hard to create unique quest for each one. But if you have an AI system that can like say, okay, I know where this person's at, I know what's around them, let me try and create quests with them. But I also think another aspect to it that I really want to incorporate is the quest have some relevance to you. So let's say like you do like a weekly check-in, or like a daily check-in, or a bi-weekly check-in, whatever length of the check-in is, and you have like this AI system where you just like ask a couple questions like, oh, hey, what are you into, or something like that, and you kind of get an idea of like, okay, the AI system at least gets an idea of what this person is interested in doing. You know what I'm saying? Um, and after they get the idea, you can say, okay, let me try and tailor this the request to them. So maybe the person's like, oh, I want to meet more people. Then the quest could like entail events that will cause them to meet more people. Maybe it's going to a social event and grabbing this, or getting like 5 free foods at 5 separate college social events. Or maybe the quest, if the person is like, oh, I want to upskill my web dev skills, right? Maybe it could be like, okay, go talk to a local store owner and see what they would want in the website or something like that. Maybe something like that. And having it be unique in that sense is something I think is possible with AI. I think you can imagine how with generative AI and all that, as it gets better, it's just the app gets better as well. So I think it's really cool. Another cool aspect is that there was a Google Map competition I want to compete in. Um, and I was aware that since WTM was no more, I couldn't really compete in it. But since this does incorporate Google Map, I think it'll be really cool to still compete in that. I think it's something that's really unique in that sense. I think another aspect, just going back, sorry for disorganizing a bit, but another aspect that was really interesting was that I went on these online video to video platforms to see, okay, let me try and talk to people who might actually use this app. And I talked to them, and it was very short conversations. I really disliked those apps for that reason. Like, it was just weird in general. But as I was speaking, I realized, okay, this isn't really as unique as I thought it was. And I think that's a big component of what I'm going to do going forward. 'Cause I think a lot of what I do is very internal. It's like, okay, I'm doing a lot of brainstorming internally. But once you have to actually execute those ideas out of your mouth, realize the flaws in them. Like, I remember I was talking to someone, and I was like, oh, okay, so can I tell you about this startup I'm working on? I was like, yeah, okay, tell me. I was like, this is an event discovery platform. And I kind of froze there because, like, he said, is that it? I was like, yeah. And I was like, to be fair, at the core of it, that's what it really is. And there's some obviously distinguishers, but like, it wasn't as unique as I thought it could be. I also have to be fair to myself in that there's no $1 billion idea. That's a myth. There's really just $1 billion executions. So regardless of how unique the idea is, it's really a matter of the execution of it. But even then, there's a reason why the event discovery platform isn't as successful. And I think I originally thought it was that people couldn't capitalize on people who wanted to go to events, but I think it's a matter of there's no supply of places to have those events, and since there's no supply, by supply I mean like third place and all that, Since there's no proper supply of it, there's also no demand because like people don't. There's not that culture. There's not that desire since it doesn't exist. Right? You can't desire food you've never thought of or had or seen. Um, but yeah, but yeah. I think it's obviously all the aspects, but I think this is a nice next step. I'm really excited. I'm really trying to stay with the name Quest, but I'm also looking at copyright stuff. I think I can before I really get into before I get really attached to the name Quest, I want to like make sure I can actually use it. But I think it's a really great idea. I also want you. I'm trying to think of how the user interface is going to look. I want to know if it's something I should go more of a pixelated look um, to kind of give respect to those very the kind of the starter games of Pixel Quest and all that pixel games with styled in pixels that were kind of like Quest, like I'm forgetting the names, but they exist. Or if I should go with something more modern to encourage a more broad usage. But I think my problem with that is I don't think it's something that's going to be widely adopted by the masses. I think there's something that there's a niche group of people that desire something like this. We've got maybe it's Gen Z people who don't have that much of a passion, like are looking for stuff to actually do in the life instead of just like scrolling on Instagram. Um, so maybe instead of targeting everyone, I should target that a specific group. I really don't know. But I'm excited that I'm working on something else. I'm happy that it incorporates a lot of stuff I care about from skills, AI, social. Um, but yeah, I think that's where my head is at. I'm really excited. I'm also really excited. I don't regret any of the stuff I did with WTM because I think a lot of that does build that skill that I continuously use in my life, be it in regards to learning Figma or in how to approach building an app, a startup, and all that. And even like, I think one of the biggest things is kind of being delusional, but also being very grounded, right? Because I think there's very amazing aspects of the app, but I also I have to face reality and say, okay, but here's the reality of the situation. So how can I balance those two? I think I really did it. I think I executed that well, and that led to the outcome it did, but also led to the next step, which I'm really excited for. But besides that, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.